Hey everyone, welcome again on Davis Tech, and let's continue the last video, and we are going to work on the plus button. And after clicking the plus button, we have to show the alert box where we have two field, title and subtitle, and we are going to store that data on a SQLite database. So let me create a new method. So dialog, basically the data, the method will be async and await because the dialog is kind of future. Okay, so here we are going to return a show dialog widget, and context will be the same, and we have to return a builder method from here. So let me add the semicolon and let me return a builder method, and here we have to get the input called build context as the parameter, and here inside this builder method we have to return a new widget called alert dialog. And in the alert dialog, what are the things we have? The first thing we have is the content, and in the content the thing we wanted to show on alert, that we have to provide. So basically here we have to return a widget, a custom widget. So what I'm going to do, that I'm going to use the container widget, and in the container widget I'm going to provide the height 150, and the child of the container I'm going to use the column. Okay, the visualization I will going to give you, but let me just add a children on the column. Okay, the first children will be again a text form field, and as you know, in a text form field we have the decoration property. Let me use the decoration and input decoration and provide a label. The label text will be the first is title, and now we added some widget and we can use it for the visualization. So this show my dialog thing we have to show after clicking the plus button. So let me go on a floating action button. Here we have the on place. I'm going to call it here only show my dialog. Okay, and if I will click on a plus button, then you will see a alert box. Okay, so here you can see that we can see a text form field that have a title as the label. So let's add another text form field just after it where we have a subtitle. So basically I'm not working on a UI. So just utilize your work. I'm just wanted to show you that how you can use the SQLite. So here I added a second text form field. Basically, if for to see the changes, I had to again come back and click on a plus button. Then you will going to see a two thing, title and subtitle. And also I'm going to add a save button over here. Like now you added the title and subtitle. Just click on a save button to save the data on the SQLite database. So inside the um, alert box, we have a second parameter called action, where we can provide all kind of action we wanted to show here. Okay, so this is the content part where you can write any kind of content, and just after the content we have the part of the actions where we can add the button. So let me just add it, then you will get a better visualization. So here I'm going to use the text button, and text button on press is here. Let me add a empty method, and let me provide a text widget over here, and let me add a save. So when I will hit the save, and let me add a separate it using the comma. So if I will hit the save, and let me just go back and let me just click on a plus button, then you will find the save button as well. Okay, so we have a title, subtitle, and the save button. You can definitely work on the UI, like adding a size box and all to give some height between the title and subtitle and this button thing. You can add also a content padding over here. Just inside the alert box we have a content padding as well, where you can work on the styling. That's up to you. Okay, so let me provide a content padding 14. Let's see how it will look like. So now it looking like this. So basically you can work on the UI. That's up to you, but I'm going to show you that how you can insert the data on the SQLite database. So now we have a area, title and subtitle. For that, I'm going to create a text form field because with help of the text form field only we will going to get the text which we have inside the title and subtitle. So here the first text edit controller, I mean I wanted to create a text edit controller, sorry. Okay, so the title controller, okay, the first text edit controller is the title, and let me just copy it and let me use as a subtitle, and let me provide this controller on the respective text form field. Okay, so let me go there, and here we have the text form field. Inside the text form field we have the controller, and for the title we are using the title controller to get the text we have in a title, and for the controller of the subtitle we are going to use the subtitle controller to get the text inside we have a subtitle. Now after hitting the save, now we have to write the logic here on our text button on press. Like after clicking on a save button, we wanted to insert the data inside the SQLite database. In the last video, we already created a method called insert data. With help of that, we are going to insert the data on a my table on MyDB database. Okay, so let me go on a home page again. And in the on press, basically we already created a DB object of the DB class where we wrote the all kind of method for inserting a data or creating a table thing. So we have to call it inside the on press. So here I'm going to call it db dot insert data. Basically here you have to provide the data model which we created, and inside the data model we just have the two thing. Okay, and ID thing is automatically going to add here. Okay, so we don't have to worry about it. Now let's work on it, and let me go on a data model. Here inside the data model the first field was the ID which we haven't added. So with help of this JSON, this is the quick fix. Okay, now everything is perfect. Now let me go on a home page. Inside the data model we have to provide the actual value. So let me create a data model class. Here we can provide it like this also. So here we have to provide the title, and we are going to provide the title with help of the title controller dot txt, and here we have to provide the subtitle with help of the subtitle controller dot txt. Okay, and just go last. So here you can see that when I will click on a save button, the data will going to insert. So basically you can add a thing here, like we need a title and subtitle. So here you can uh, add a validation, like if you don't add a title or subtitle then you will not going to move forward. That logic you can write, and you can get an idea from my other video. I will put the link of the video in the description, that how you can add the form validation on your forms. So let me add here something. Okay, so I'm going to add this thing, anything I can add. If I will click on a save, so the data is saved, but still the alert box is here. So just after adding the data on a database, we are going to use the navigator dot pop. So with help of that, just after clicking on a save button, first we are going to insert the data on a database, and we are navigating out from the alert box. So let me just first time go back and click on a plus. So here I'm going to add a title, hey there 2, and subtitle, just checking, anything you can add. Okay, so it will going to save on a database, but I think we are getting an issue on a database. So we are getting a error, and the error is here. The primary key will be look like this. Okay, here I had the typo, and here also we have a typo that the name here is I'm using subtitle. That is actually a subtitle, because in a data model we already specified that this will be a subtitle, and with help of that only we are going to insert the data inside the database. So that's why I told you, like, don't made any mistake on here in a typo. Okay, so now we fixed it, but we will get an issue, like again if I will go here and if I will click on a plus, and here you will see that the text is already here, because just after clicking on a save we just have to clear out this text. We will do it later, but let me just again try to insert the data. Okay, so if I will click on a save, then you will going to find that has no column subtitle again, because this kind of issue you will get. This code is already executed, and where we don't had the name called subtitle. So to fix it, I just convert the name of the DB for a quick fix, and I'm going to refresh the page. So when I will refresh the page, then a new database will going to create, and new table will going to create where we have the name subtitle and also we have the primary key. Now I refresh the page, and let's try to add again that it's everything working or not. To this time I will going to add the testing, and let me hit the save. We haven't got any issue, which means the data is inserted on the my table data. I mean my table. Okay, which means everything is working fine. Now we have a first data inside our my table. Okay, but we wanted to see the data, and how we will do it. To do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new method, future, and that will going to return a list of data model, because when we will do the query, then we will try to get all the data is available inside the my table. Okay, so here it will be async and await type. Okay, so here what we have to do, we have to create a new instance of the DB. So we will get DB instance from here like this, and now we have to do the query db dot query, and we have to provide the table name like dit. Okay, so we are providing the table name, and in the query, if we don't provide anything, like we at the last time we provided the data to insert it, but here we are not going to provide anything. Okay, we're just doing a query. So this query will going to return data of all the data is available inside the my table. Okay, so here we have to write the return type as well, that after querying we will going to get the list of the my table, I mean list of this subtitle and title data. Okay, that we stored inside the my table. So here I'm going to use a list of map string and object. Okay, and I'm going to provide a name, datas will be await, and as we are using the null safety, then we have to put the question mark here. Now we are getting the data which we stored inside the my table, but this is in type of this list map string object. We have to map it on a data model. So as we already created inside the data model the from map, that will going to help us to map the SQL data which we are querying from the database to a normal data model object. So how I'm going to do it? So for that, we're getting a list of the object here. So I'm going to use the map method. So here I'm going to call the map, and inside the map we will going to return our data model from map, and this I'm going to provide. You already know how to use the map, right? So the map will going to iterate each of the object which we will get inside this data's variable. So this E is a individual object of the list, and we are mapping it on a data model. At the last, we just have to call the toList. So it will going to generate a list of data model with help of these data. Basically, we are mapping it from this map string object to list of data model. Okay, so now we got the list of data model, but we have to store it. Okay, or we can just return it. If you have a doubt, then I can clear it out. So here you have a list of the object of the map string. Suppose these are the data 1, data 2, or data 3 which you are getting from the SQL, and with help of the map we just convert it on a data model 1, data model 2, and data model 3. So the map function will do it. I mean, with help of the map function we just mapped out each of the object of this map string object into a data model. So that's it for the data map. Okay, so now we have to call this get data inside our home page. So inside our home page we have to call it inside the init state. So as we already created the DB, here we can create a new variable called list of data model. Okay, so we can give the name as data here also. Basically it will empty list at the beginning, but we are going to store the datas at the time of init state, and we will use the get data method from here. Basically this get data method will going to return a list of data model. So let me create a new method. Get data will be the same name, but this is a new method inside the home page, and here we can call this thing and we can use the await, and we can call it inside the init state. Also, the one thing we have to do, we have to use bool for the fetching. Okay, for the fetching, at the first the fetching will be true because at the initial time we have to fetch the data from the database, but after fetching it we have to set the state to fetching as a false. Okay, because what I created this fetching thing till the data we will fetch from the database, I wanted to show the circular progress bar here inside the body parameter of this scaffold. So in the body I'm going to show if the fetching is true, a circular progress indicator, and if there is no fetching, I mean the fetching is false. I just wanted to show the text. Inside text I wanted to show the first text. As of now I wanted to show the first text of the data's dot title. Okay, just wanted to prove that we can fetch the data from the database. So also I had to wrap it on a center widget. I think everything is clear for you. Now let me just refresh the page, and after refreshing the page, if we have any data inside the my table, then you can see that we got the data. The first data I am printing here inside the center of the body. So we can fetch the data from the database. Okay, so what we did that In a database.dart, we created a new method called getData, and this getData will query the data from the my table, and it will going to return a list of the object. So this is basically type of the object which we are getting from the my table, and we map this thing to a data model object with help of the from map which we created here. Okay, and what we did that we just return it a list of this object from this database.dart file, and we are calling this get data here inside the, I mean this is not a get data which we created here. So this get data is different, or for the simplicity I can change the name. Okay, get data 2. So here we created a local method called get data 2, and here we are querying, I mean we are calling the get data which we created inside the database.dart file, and it will returning us a list of data model. Okay, and at the beginning, at the time of loading the app, we set the fetching as a true because we wanted to show the circular progress bar till the data will be fetched from the database. And after the data is fetched, we set the fetching as a false, and we show the first data which we got on a body of the scaffold. So this thing we did, which means we can add the data on a database, and we can also show the data on the our Flutter app. So in the next video, what we are going to do, we are going to create a new component that will going to show you a title and subtitle, and also we are going to add a edit and delete option as well. So till the next video, happy coding. Please don't forget to subscribe the channel. Also share the video to your friend, and please help me to grow this channel. Thank you all. Happy coding. See you on our next video.